Folks, greetings. I take this opportunity to welcome you once more again to Global Leadership Perspectives. And today I would want to focus on what has been happening throughout this week in Paris. We've had a summit, one mind-boggling and mind-blowing new global financial pact summit. And today I want to specifically look at some of the contributions of the African leaders. And I would want to specifically look at what the president of South Africa, Mr. Ramaphosa, was able to bring to the attention of the globe. And one of the things that he really brought out very firmly is the issue of climate change, that he said this issue needed to be addressed, and not to be addressed in partiality, but to be addressed very well. He also talked about the issue of poverty in relation to third world countries that needed to be given much more attention, but in a different way, not necessarily in a conventional way that the globe has been looking at it. And the other thing he talked about is the unfulfilled promises. Last time when they had the summit, he mentioned that out of that meeting there was a promise, especially the issuance of 100 billion. But Ramaphosa was very quick to say that that has never been fulfilled up to date, and he put these countries on the spot and asked them why they were not fulfilling their promises, yet those are promises that were made in relation to mitigating some of the serious issues, especially around the climate issues. So though he was very quick to say that, with exceptional of countries such as Germany and USA partially, they were able to at least follow up and do something where some of the promises were concerned. So he somehow exonerated them in a way, but his point was made very well. The other point that he brought to the attention of the world has had to do with the issue of vaccine frustration. And on this one, really, you could feel him. And on this one, he was very passionate about it. And also there was a sense of bitterness in him. Because he said that the northern hemisphere, that is during the corona period, they bought almost all the vaccine, and later on they started hoarding this vaccine and giving them to the highest bidder, or giving them at will to whoever they felt to give. And so he rebuked actually the world, and especially the northern hemisphere. He said that that was unethical. It was not right. Of course, he did not say that was unethical, but now I'm personally saying, indeed, sure, that was unethical and that was not right. So he rebuked them. He told them that was not right. And to make the matter worse, even when Africa tried to consolidate their effort together, or individual countries tried to put their resources together to start manufacturing a vaccine, this was faced with a lot of brutality. And he was able to point out that while WHO did not give them any support that was required. And of course, he was able to insinuate that this will not happen because of the major cartels where pharmaceutical are concerned. They would want to ensure they keep making their profit and they keep making their money on such venture. So that was the second, that was almost the fourth thing that he talked about, and that was indeed mind-boggling. The other thing he talked about was the issue of infrastructure in Africa to be given priority. And when he talked about the issue of infrastructure, for example, he mentioned the issue of President Susa Nguesi, who mentioned the issue of a major dam that is taking place in Congo. He said that this Inga Dam, which has the ability to supply electricity to almost 15 countries in Africa, needed to be given much more attention because it was a major infrastructure that can revolutionize the entire Africa. And so that needed to be given much attention. And the other, for example, infrastructure he talked about was where railway is concerned. He said there were intention to build railway right away from Johannesburg, I think, but I'm sure in South Africa, but I'm not quite sure from exactly which city in South Africa, running through Cairo. And so you look at such kind of infrastructure that would again revolutionize the aspect of transport in the continent, especially in that particular region. And it will definitely open up the region where market is concerned. And this would help Africa. So the issue of infrastructure where Africa is concerned was really, he really talked about it. And the other thing he talked about had to do with reforms in the financial architecture. Of course, there are other speakers that came, and there's a lady who she was more of talking of transformation instead of reforms. Anyway, but I'm focusing at Mr. Ramaphosa. He said that there was and there is a need for financial reforms where some of these financial global institutions are concerned. And Ibrahim Moore is very vocal where Africa issues are concerned. He indicated that multilateral directors in some of these financial global institutions, they are not independent. That means the kind of the decision they will make, they may not necessarily favor the interest of Africa. They would only favor a certain section or the kind of the person that are carrying the shots, because these financial institutions, they are financial institutions that were deliberately designed and created by specific people to serve their own interest. And so that was an issue. He talked about equality, and this one, he really said that they are coming, that Africa needs to come on board as equal members, not as partial member. They need to be equal, not to be treated as people who comes, and when the world has shared what they need to share, they leave the rest, the spoils, for the Africans, or Africans are just seated there waiting a few to drop from the table, and then they can pick. He really dismantled that, and he said that is not supposed to be the case, and Africa is not interested in holding such kind of position anymore. So equality was an issue that he talked about. And the other issue that he talked about had to do with change the perspective on Africa, that is the other world, who call themselves developed world. They need to change their perspective where Africa is concerned. He said that they are coming for the summit. They are coming in Europe not as beggars, but they are coming as partners. And they do not want just to be treated as peripheral partners, but as equal partners where this is concerned. And so the issue of begging is completely not here or there. And that was very loud and clear. And Personally, I think Mr. Ramaphosa really talked about serious issues and things that really are important to Africa and things that need to be taken very serious where some of these programs are concerned. So I appreciate Ramaphosa where those thoughts are concerned, and I think serious leaders need to join together with him and push this kind of programs and interest. Otherwise, the King bless Africa and the King bless the people of Africa.